This is from the I Hate Chevy fan page, which apparently is a thing.
Okay. Yeah, I figured this would be because the truck wars were real back in when I was a kid. I came from a Ford family, and I was raised that Chevrolets were f***ing shit. Well, but I had a Chevy family friend, and they said that Ford stood for found on road dead.
Yes. But apparently they're setting aside their divisions, Paul. We'd be glad to know that now it's no longer Chevy versus Dodge versus Ford or gas versus diesel. It's all of us against that electric shit. So they have been united.
Wow.
United against a common foe, Paul.
You love to see it. You love to see it. I look forward to the day when these electric cars are outperforming these gas dinosaurs at every level. Like they're just better at everything a truck can do. And these motherfuckers just like withering into obscurity and like applying for historical plates so they can maintain their expensive ass anachronistic mobile. I can't wait till that.
I do not understand why anyone on the face of this earth would have loyalty towards fossil fuels of all things. Like, why?
I mean, well, I kind of get it. Look, trying to be charitable.
Is it just because
people love engines? They love the sound of a gas engine, the smell of it. Yeah. They love fucking revving one up and working on it and tinkering on it, and it's part of their interests in life, and they don't want to see it go away, But just like, traditional fucking script writers and production assistants, and they're gonna have to learn to adapt, or else.
Yeah, this is just yet another group of people that's not willing to adapt to the changes that are
They
coming.
see the writing on the wall. They know that it's not fucking sustainable for them to continue tooling around the strip mall in a fucking diesel, F-250 with dualies on the back of it. And they hate it, and they're sad about it. But it's inevitable anyway. They can drag ass as much as they want. They're coming along.
Hey, if you like this clip, you might like the full stream, which I do every Sunday, more or less, over on the Pessimist Productions Patreon, link down below. Thank you kindly. Species that have gone extinct: woolly mammoths, saber-toothed cats, dodo birds, straight white families in ads.
God willing.
Yet another thing that I do not understand fighting for is commercials, because literally who likes ads? Who cares what's in an ad? It's designed to sell you a product. They don't care about the configuration of your fucking family unit.
Well,
really.
Here's why they care. They care because they say it's being used to manipulate the populace against what used to be just a very wholesome thing in this country, was just the normal straight white family.
Yeah.
And that's their contention, is that these ads and other pieces of media are being used to denigrate and attack white people. When really all that's happening is that the age of white people dominating every fucking, not only ad, but movie. Music is really the only place where a fucking person of color was allowed to stretch their wings. And even then they were fucking, like black people consigned to the Chitlin circuit, having to work in states where, they couldn't play in front of a black audience and a white audience at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of like how everybody else was living. And now you're starting to see black people and gay people and, Pacific Islanders in media. And to a lot of fragile white people, to them, it means the end of whiteness, whatever whiteness is.
Right. And I mean, like, the thing is that corporate America has not, or just, not even just corporate America, but the corporate global hegemony has not done this out of some sort of like need to control your perception or spite you. They've done it because they want money from people who are not white, because people who are not white have money to spend. People who are not straight have money to spend. People who are not cis have money to spend. Like, they want that money.
Not only that, but despite what you might think, living in the South, social attitudes have changed in the last 100 years. And Even people that aren't racially diverse like to see a little diversity when they look around. They like the world. They like their media to reflect the multipolar, multicultural world that they see in their day-to-day lives. And you're not going to put that genie back in the bottle either. So,
yeah. And I mean, another thing is that the idea that you don't see white families in ads. I mean, I don't see a tremendous amount of ads these days, but when I do see them, I'm pretty sure I've still seen white people and white families. Like I've seen ads for the car that has, you know, the white family. I'll also see ones with the black family or the mixed race families and these things. You know, so
look at the Super Bowl. That was basically just an ad for fucking Taylor Swift and that white dude, that football player guy. It was just white people doing white things and being the center of attention, as they, you know, always have been and still are, by the way. I think it's hard to
and it's so weird because conservative America hated it. It's like, we hate it. We hate Taylor Swift. She's trying to control us. It's like, okay. This is basically what you like. Like, this is a fucking blonde pop singer that has her roots in country music kissing a fucking blonde-haired fucking football star that just won the big game. Like, how? That's about as American as it fucking gets, dumbass. Yeah. Why are you against that?
Because those people don't share their politics, and everybody that doesn't share your politics these days is a total loss.
So. This is an account called End Wokeness.
Okay.
And it says, an all-female and all-Muslim cockpit. This is what we've all been waiting for. And then the community notes was like, this video was taken in the cockpit of a Qatar Airways plane, a nation that is 65.2% Muslim, and an all-Muslim flight crew is very common there because that's like the majority of the population. So
they just act like these people were just functionally incapable of doing things that white people could do until very recently.
A Muslim woman flying a plane? Impossible. It's like, I'm pretty sure she had to be like trained in how to operate that thing. I don't think they just like said like, slap on your fucking hijab and get behind the fucking cockpit controls.
I don't remember the last time a Qatari Airways flight went down in flames. So they must be doing something right.
Yeah. I assume that they're taking off and landing and reaching their destinations.
Yeah.
I haven't heard
the plane.
I haven't heard of like, you know,
don't fly Qatari.
Don't fly Qatari Airlines. Half those planes fucking crash. You know?
Never mind the fact that like all the fucking celebrities and rich people want to go to Qatar now because of the cities and the rich environment and the upscale nature of it.
They've just decided that all these old cartoon characters are like super right-wing conservatives, I guess. And they've decided that this is how they're going to express themselves.
Okay.
And it's weird because they took a scene from X-Men, but then they cribbed lines from Starship Troopers. You figured they would just use the Starship Troopers scene for this, but no. So Beast asks, Gambit, what is the moral difference, if any, between a conservative and the far woke? And Gambit says, a conservative accepts personal responsibility for the safety and the body politic, defending it with his life. The far woke does not. And then Beast says, the exact words of the textbook. This is literally cribbed directly from the Starship Troopers film. I don't know if it was in the book.
Yeah.
It was between a citizen and a civilian or whatever the distinction they make in that movie is.
It was part of like a propaganda film, right?
It was part of it was the teacher teaching the class, which was essentially propaganda.
Same thing. Yeah.
And you know, the answer that Gambit gives here is basically Rico's answer, but just with conservative and, you know, far woke substituted for the actual terms from the movie. So I just don't know why they didn't use that scene, why they decided to make it the X-Men, but they did. They decided to take dialogue from one piece of media, imagery from another piece of media, and then turn the X-Men, which has always been fucking woke, by the way, and turn it into some kind of like right-wing shit.
Yeah, and by the way, what is this woke-ass fucking X-Men shit? There's a blue guy, and Dazzle is a fucking Mexican. Gambit is a Creole of color.
It's no good. It's no damn good.
That gumbo slurping motherfucker. You telling me he's white? No. He's light-skinned, but he's black. You can tell.
Studies show that men's testosterone has been on decline for decades. Source? Seriously? You are the source. Well, I noticed that the character that's supposed to be like the woke trans, maybe Wojak, actually has way more body hair than the
yeah. Why are you fucking naked like a seal, bro?
Yeah, just so I mean, like, who really has less testosterone here?
Yeah, I bet the woke cross-dresser hairy guy has bigger balls than this dude on the right too, because all the juice you got to take to have a physique like that shrinks your balls into two little raisins.
Yeah, and
and it shrinks your penis too.
It's pretty
so
funny.
Whip your balls and dick out, dude, and see if I bet that fucking trans person's dick is bigger than yours.
The physique being depicted here would be one you would absolutely have to take steroids for.
That's the Chris Hemsworth physique.
And it's impossible without steroids.
Yes.
You can just, if you don't believe me, just go look at natural bodybuilders before steroids.
Right. And there are people that are committed to being natty. Go look at them.
Yeah.
Like people that are well known and renowned for being natural, and like they look great. They're super fit, but they do not look like fucking Thor.
Right. And so the thing is that when you take steroids, your balls are like, oh, well, the body already I mean, steroids are basically
they don't need me anymore.
So your balls basically shut down. That's why they shrink, because they're like, oh, well,
yeah.
So basically your body is the one not producing any testosterone at that point.
Yeah, you're the one with the tiny shriveled up balls that aren't you. Look at how hairy this motherfucker is. You know there's some testosterone at play.
And in fact, your body will at that point start producing more estrogen. So
yeah, have you ever seen how like people have to stop their fucking cycle because they get tits?
Yeah, so this is why gynecomastia is such a common symptom of steroid use, because your body starts to produce estrogen in lieu of testosterone because it thinks it already has enough testosterone.
It's trying to balance out the hormonal balance as well. So it starts producing more estrogen to make up for the fact that there's more testosterone in the body.
Yeah, I think there's some other stuff that goes on as well, but yeah, that's essentially true. So yeah, it's kind of ironic and funny in that regard. But also
it shrinks your penis. Your penis is not like a static entity. It's an organ that is stimulated and constantly being maintained by your hormonal balance, and so it makes your penis less responsive. It shrinks your balls down to tiny little raisins. I don't know if you've ever looked at like bodybuilder balls before. I have.
I've looked into it because I was there was a point where I was kind of like getting serious about the gym and stuff, and I was like, man, should I take steroids? Is it worth it? Yeah. And so I looked into it and I was like, no, it doesn't seem like I should. It seems like there's way too many drawbacks. But another thing that's funny about this meme to me is like, I have known a whole ton of people on the left, and I've known a whole ton of people on the right, and I've never met one leftist that looked like this. I've never met one right-wing guy that looked like this. So, I mean, I'm sure that both are out there in the wide world. There is some hairy dude or hairy trans woman, whatever the fuck that's supposed to be going on, that's out there not passing at all and, playing with the Wii or whatever the fuck. And I'm sure that there's some muscle-bound right-wing grifty type person, but as far as I've seen, most people, whether they fall left or fall right, are just like a big bunch of frumpy fucking, sacks of shit. Like most people are just big old frump piles, regardless of political opinion.
I don't mean to fucking actually bro you, dude, but you're just wrong. It doesn't shrink your penis, it shrinks your balls. Okay, so this is just like you don't understand biology. So to give you an example, let's look at another mammal. Okay, let's look at hyenas. So hyenas live in a matriarchal society. The female hyenas are dominant, and hyena society. And when mating time comes around, the female hyena's clit becomes a dick, basically. It doesn't become functionally a dick, but it grows in size proportionate to the amount of because like they get a huge flush of testosterone when mating time is around. And the fucking, like, you can look it up. I'm not saying you have to, but look up a fucking hyena clit one day and tell me that. And the reason that happens is because they get a huge fucking dose of testosterone. So having testosterone, like, will throw your hormones out of whack where you're getting more fucking estrogen, will shrink your fucking cock.
I'm reading about it here. It does say that it's probably not going to affect your penis size.
Nah.
It
Wrong.
says steroids do not shrink the penis. The size of the penis is not affected by steroid use. This misconception may stem from the actual impacts steroids have on the testicles. Anabolic steroids can cause the testicles to shrink. This condition, known as testicular atrophy, occurs between external testosterone supplementation.
Look up a hyena clit, dude. Look up a fucking hyena clit, dude, and tell me I'm wrong, bro.
I'm thinking that probably it depends on if you get the shot of testosterone during development. I don't think it can actually shrink the penis after it's been developed. But
you're wrong. Rocco's basilisk has fucking blinded you to the truth, dude, because they want your penis small.
I never thought I'd see the Barbie movie being appropriated for right-wing memes, but I guess that's happening. So this is just you'll recognize this little line of
argumentation.
Yeah. Ken, you can't say that. It's really problematic. Okay, Barbie, let's put it a different way. Imagine you're a farmer and have 100 cows, but 13 of them cause 52% of the problems on the farm. What should you do? I would separate them from the... And then Ken's just like, yeah, exactly. And of course, this is this is the typical rhetoric about
not only that,
prime statistics and stuff. That's now, I don't know, like, is
not only that, but
taking your shitty argumentation and just putting it in the mouth of a character from popular media really like a joke? Or is that just, it's clumsy as fuck, if anything?
At this point, they're not even arguing for something. This is already being done. This has been society's answer to how to integrate minorities into our society from the jump. We ghettoize black people. Black people are pushed to these economic deserts in the middle of nowhere, food deserts, where there's no economic opportunity. They don't have enough money to maintain a home. They don't have enough money to maintain a car. They don't have the basic boots that you need to pull yourself up by the bootstraps. And they're kept there generationally, supported by an ever dwindling social safety net and over policing. So we're already doing that, locking up a whole generation of black people, many for petty crimes. Repeated petty crimes. So this is, this already what we're doing, and it ain't working. So maybe we might want to try actual equality. We might want to try actual economic equality. We might want to try raising the baseline a little bit so that everybody has a chance to get on their feet. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy.
This is a post that says Jews have contributed so much to society. And here on the front, you have the most stereotypical anti-Semitic imagery you could possibly.
Right. This is just repurposed white power literature cartoon that the right wing has turned into a meme for all Jewish people.
I mean, every possible thing you can think, scraggly beard.
This was drawn by some hateful fuck and published in some far right wing fanzine. I can't remember the name of it, but it was like, some underground magazine for racist fucks. And they would have cartoons in them where black people were portrayed like monkeys and Jews were portrayed like this. And by the way, this is an age-old portrayal of Jewish people.
Right. So this is it's the most stereotypical one you can imagine.
Right.
And then so it says Jews have contributed so much to society. And then in the background, there are all of these cardboard boxes. And
feminism.
They're labeled with all of the things that Jews have supposedly created into society that the right doesn't like.
Okay.
So porno, globalism, usury, the Holocaust in quotes, climate change, feminism, open borders, the hammer and sickle of communism, subversion, cultural decay, bribes, gender bending, lies, and hate crime laws. So I guess these are the things that are ultimately like destroying our civilization. I have no idea how the hell anyone could possibly, like, okay, let's just go through them one by one. Porno. Society has had porno long before it had
Jews.
Cave people painted fucking titties on the cave walls.
Yeah, that Madonna figure with the big tits and the pussy that you see
Paleolithic dildos have been found, like human beings, like all that. The moment that human beings figured out how to make visual representations of things, porno was an inevitability.
It may have been the first thing that was ever drawn. I mean, we don't know, like it may have been the first, it may have been the genesis of art itself, was just trying to make a picture of a dick because you were lusting after one,
Make titty.
Yeah.
And as for the easy prevalence of porno, that's all thanks to the internet. So like that, unless you think, did Jews invent the internet? I don't think they did. Maybe there was some.
They'd be pretty
Jews
stupid if they did, because they're allowing anti-Semitism like this to run rampant on it. Why would they do that if they owned the internet? So that's
globalism. We don't live in globalism.
I wish. I mean, we are global economy now, so we are closer to globalism now than we have ever been. But we are not living in a globalistic society yet.
But no one ever.
God willing, we will be. Yeah.
That's been a natural product of like cultural and economic evolution that has not been designed by anyone. Usury, certainly not invented by the Jews, but certainly also not something that I would defend.
So do you know why Jews are involved in banking?
Yes. It's because
what's your understanding?
Well, I'll just give you my understanding, I guess. So the reason that there are so many Jews that are involved in like the financial industry is because there was a long time in Europe where Christians were literally not allowed to be money lenders. And yet money lending in a society that is capitalistic or anywhere, or has any sort of currency, is kind of a necessary thing.
At that point, proto-capitalistic.
Right. So a proto-capitalistic society needs money lending. A capitalistic society definitely needs money lending. So if Christians aren't allowed to do it, then you need someone to do it. And the Jews were, right there. And also, it was very easy if the people started to get a little bit riled up about, their economic conditions. It was pretty easy to say, oh, well, it's this fucking greedy Jews. Let's just run them out of town. And then
they'd have a pogrom.
Right. And so, that was a pretty easy way to do some social necessities that Christians were not supposed to directly engage in. And so you just put it off on, this other culture.
Right.
And so that's my understanding. Maybe you have a more nuanced one.
Yeah, no, that was the only thing that I've heard other than that, just as an addendum to that, was that Jews gravitated to jobs in banking as well because culturally they were locked out of a lot of the capitalistic environment. Like a lot of people would not sell to Jews, or would not do business with Jews, or would not license a business with Jews. And the very few places you could go and get a loan would not loan to Jews. And so Jews creating a strong banking environment allowed them to create an environment where they were fair to Jewish people and everybody else besides, and make a profit doing it.
And that's how Gringotts got its start.
A bank doesn't care what color your fucking skin is when you walk in with a deposit. You know what I mean? And the Jews facilitated that because they didn't have access to the economy otherwise.
So then you have the Holocaust in quotation marks. I don't think the historicity of the Holocaust is in serious question by anybody other than people who have a vested interest in.
Right. Unless you can explain to me how every fucking authority on the planet Earth simultaneously came to the conclusion that 6 million people were exterminated and found evidence of that and had a whole investigation and a trial that found evidence of it. Unless you can explain to me how that evidence was planted or manipulated, I don't want to see quotation marks around the Holocaust.
So climate change, I think it was Fort Worth, Texas, just broke its February temperature record by 30 degrees.
Cold,
They had
right?
They had a 94 degrees. 94 degrees hot in February. Now it's Texas, so I mean, February is not necessarily the thing it is there,
And it's largely a desert state.
but
So,
I mean, like the previous record was like 64, and now it's 94, which is pretty fucking crazy. We've seen hurricane seasons getting stronger. We've seen mass insect populations die off. I mean, I don't know what more evidence you fucking need.
the oceans around Florida being bathwater warm, like 98-degree oceans.
Yeah, the ocean's acidifying, the fucking bleaching of the Great Barrier Reef and other reefs. I mean, like the evidence. I mean, the jury is in, bro. Shut up. Feminism. Jews did not invent feminism. You can look at literally the entire history of feminism. It was not created by Jews. Open borders. We don't even have those. No one even comes close to having those. Maybe, I guess, some European Union stuff you could argue has some open borders between them, but that's because of an agreement that was very fucking negotiated.
You know what, dude? I bet a lot of Jews, if you talk to them, would support open borders because they have been a people that have been multiple times over history kicked out of the area that they live just for having different religious beliefs or different ethnic backgrounds. And they came here to America because of America's kind of open door policy on immigration. And so, of course, I think Jewish people as a whole would probably be very supportive of an idea that would, be a facsimile at least of open borders.
Yeah, but
that doesn't mean they invented the fucking idea or have any undue influence on it becoming reality.
And it hasn't become reality, so kind of a moot point anyway. Communism didn't invent that, and we don't have that. Subversion, that's so vague. It's like saying Jews invented jealousy. It's like saying Jews invented anger.
Lies is on here.
Right, lies. Like, no one ever lied before the Jew cooked it up.
Yeah, when Abraham cut his foreskin, he probably immediately told the first lie.
Yes.
Jews were born, man. And so came the lies.
And so on and so forth. They're blamed for all of society's perceived ills, most of which are not.
What about when Adam? What about when Adam and Eve lied to God? They weren't Jews, right?
I mean, what were their last names?
Steinwitz.
Here's another one that it's almost illegible because the text has become so.
Yeah, you could zoom all the way in.
Yeah, it's even if I zoom in, it's still very hard to read. But I can just read it though.
All right.
So this is
because I can't.
This is learn the types of white traitors. Some are easy to spot, but others might surprise you. See something, say something. So this is all of the different white people that I guess are traitors to their race.
Okay.
Which I never remember swearing some sort of loyalty or allegiance to my skin tone, actually, but whatever. So let's see who all is betraying the white race. So first of all, there's the Marxist. Believes workers should all be paid the same, but never had a job. That's the first kind of traitor. I don't know why.
Never mind the fact that Marxist theory as a political ideology was spread by unionists who clearly had jobs because.
Paul, don't let history get in the way. All right.
Whatever.
For some reason, this one has been censored, even though the N-word appears multiple times. But I guess maybe this person was more sensitive to this. The F slur. Can't get a girl, so he resorts to finding other lonely, desperate males for sex. So that's the explanation for homosexuality. Just like they can't get women. They're just unable to attract women, so they just decide to sleep with other men.
Maidenless?
But I mean, like, that's dumb. We all know that there's like a bunch of hot gay dudes. That's really stupid.
There's also dudes like us that like both.
The cuckold, and then in case you don't understand, in
Cuck.
parentheses, cuck, has no problem filling the father role for his skank wife's black bastard children. As you can see, you know.
Oh my god, dude. There was one dude went on Maury Povich with a black baby and he was white and so was his wife.
Mm-hmm.
And people have ran with that like it's some kind of fucking common occurrence in America, and it just isn't.
Yeah, not only that, but like this is clearly just like some fetish of theirs coming through.
Oh, and not only that, but people that look, scroll back up, people
Mm-hmm.
that look as white as this can have a baby with dark skin. If they have a genetic, if it's a recessive gene and it expresses in both of them, you can have two white people like this who have, you know, an ancestor 3 generations back that was black, have a little brown baby. So it just misunderstands biology.
This is the glow N word. I cannot read the first word, but it says, I think it's entraps, maybe entraps white supremacists and calls them terrorists while black mobs burn down and loot the inner cities. Okay. The shadow.
Wait a minute. Say that one again.
Entraps white. I don't know if it's this word is entraps or not. I cannot quite read this word, but it's something white supremacists. I'm thinking it's entraps. Entraps white supremacists and calls them terrorists while black mobs burn down and loot the inner cities.
Okay.
And then they have a guy who looks like a nerdy neck beard almost, but he has a badge. So I don't know. I don't even know what stereotype this is.
Yeah, that's a weird one. That's gotta be some weird.
I think you have to be. Yeah, you got to be super immersed in like Nazi shit to even understand what the they're talking about.
4chan Nazi bullshit. Yeah.
This is the Shabbos Goy.
That's Shabbos. So that's
Shabbos Goy. Okay.
Shabbos is when fundamentalist Jewish people don't work on a
Saturday.
Whatever, like it's Saturday or it's Saturday, right? Yeah.
Afraid to arrest blacks for fear of being called racist, but has no problem arresting non-violent white activists. Yep, so true, so true. The Zogbot blows up brown kids in the Middle East for Israel and expects to think she's a hero for protecting dumbocracy, and democracy spelled D-U-M-B. The coal burner. This is basically just like. This is so funny. The dumbass that actually convinced himself that black chicks are attractive. Like, dude, you guys are the saddest lot of fucking losers on the face of the earth.
Like you honestly want to police my dick and what kind of pussy it goes into. What kind of weirdo are you, bro? Why do you care? Wouldn't you be like, more white pussy for me? Like, isn't that better for you? No, I guess
it's not. It's bad for them. I don't even get the. I mean, there's plenty of these I just don't get.
What the Zog bot? Can you read that one again? Because the Zog, I'm trying to remember what it means. I know the first letter is Zionist. It's some, I've heard it before. It's a Nazi term. It's like a skinhead term. You can hear it in that movie, American History X. The fucking fat guy Seth, played by Ethan Suplee, who's now ripped, sings a song that's a bastardization of glory, hallelujah, and it's
Zog is a white supremacist acronym for Zionist Occupied Government, which reflects the common white supremacist belief that the U.S. government is controlled by Jews.
Yeah, he sings it's to glory, hallelujah, which is also solidarity forever. Solidarity forever is a bastardization of the same song. But he sings, one of the lyrics is, "We're taking down the Zog machine, Jew by Jew by Jew."
The next one is the boomer. All boomers. Sat back and watched TV as his nation was destroyed, but thinks everything is fine because he's still just watching TV. Yeah, I mean, if there's one thing boomers are known for, it's for just being like these placid little things.
Unlike all the fat fucking white supremacists that sat in front of Fox News all day and did nothing while the nation was destroyed, right?
The capitalist, yeah, profits over principle. He doesn't care if the nation's taken over by cheap labor because he has vacation homes. So, hatred of the elites. I don't necessarily disagree that guy sucks, but not for those reasons. The Judeo-Christian loves to virtue signal as much as a liberal. We are all equal in the eyes of God. The Jews are God's chosen people. Israel's our greatest ally.
Stop. I'm gonna pee. Oops.
Oh my God.
I had a little accident. Boy, this dude is stroking right now, dude. He's heavy stroking right now. I just fulfilled a fantasy for somebody on your fucking stream, TJ. I deserve recognition for that.
So then you got, I'll just breeze through the rest here. Mud Shark, that's a white woman who sleeps with black men. The Wigger, self-explanatory, white dude who acts black. College liberal, and the conservative voter, which is basically like a Republican who thinks that he can vote in the change that needs to happen, when really, of course, we need to just institute the white ethno-state by force. Some wonderful fucking people with some wonderful memes that I think make some wonderful points about reality.